It's no coincidence I wanna hang with you. Rise and fall together, and trouble is better too. Sometimes it feels like a magnet, the way that crazy always sticks with its own kind. I don't believe in ESP, but you can read my mind.
Hello, and welcome. Hi, everybody.
Gosh, I'm excited to be back. How are you, Miss Cassie?
I'm doing good. How about you, Tracy?
I'm doing so good. I'm so excited about tonight. Like, I couldn't even sleep last night. I'm that excited, y'all. So, shall we just jump in?
I think we should. Yes.
So, you guys, tonight we are super honored, and I'm personally super excited that we have celebrity medium Thomas John, who's going to be joining us today. We're going to be interviewing him, and he's going to be doing readings for us. So he was on the hit series from Lifetime Seatbelt Psychic. He's had a show called The Thomas John Experience. He's written a book, Never Argue with a Dead Person. So a lot of kudos to him, and I wanted to say thank you to him for coming on our little show. We were super excited, and without further ado, let's bring on Thomas.
Hello, thanks so much for having me.
There he is. Hi. Yay. Well, because I'm the host of the show, I get to do my little spiel first. So this is what I'm going to do. I want to tell you, I met you a year and a half ago at one of your courses about, I think, writing your authentic self. Oh, Did I lose it? Do you remember that?
I do remember you being in my course, yes.
Okay, so that was a year and a half ago. And I think we booked you for the show earlier this year, but it just takes a while. So you couldn't do it until August. Well, I wanted to tell you just how great divine timing is and how everything comes full circle, because in a week and a half, guess what gets launched? It's here.
Yes.
It all started with your course, right? I was in Belize when I decided to start writing, and it took a year and a half, but it came. It's here. So I just wanted to say thank you for your input.
Congratulations.
Getting it started, and just love how it all came full circle, and you decided to come on the show a week before it publishes. So thank you.
Congratulations. Good luck with it.
Thank you so much. Well, welcome to the show. All of our listeners, most of our listeners are here who are either have lost somebody or they are budding mediums themselves. And so I always like to ask all of our guests, why? When did it start for you? How old were you when you first had your very first experience that you can remember?
Well, I refer to myself as a natural medium. So I, basically since I can remember, I would see spirit. And, I didn't really understand all of what went into that, but I definitely remember having experiences, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, where, I would get messages and things, and that's where it started for me, and then it's been a journey since then.
Has it? It's like an evolution. I always like to say, like, we have these experiences and we evolve, but is there one experience or one thing that said, this is what I want to do for a living? Anything that just said, this is it?
For a living, huh? When I was growing up, I saw spirit, and pretty soon into that, when I was, 5, 6, 7, I think my first turning point was when I went to school, because I realized that everybody was not seeing what I saw. And so for me, being a 7-year-old, 8-year-old little boy, it was kind of scary for me. And unfortunately, also, though, of course, everything happens for a reason, my family, they didn't understand it either. So from them, I also got, this is negative, this is bad, don't talk about this. So I actually kind of shut down my gifts for a while and really kind of tuned away from it.
Yeah.
And then much later in my early 20s, I came back to it through meditation, because I started to take meditation classes and I became aware of my abilities again. Now, in that interim, I did have my abilities and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
I would say probably in terms of really stepping into becoming a medium is, I would say probably my, where I really was like, this is going to be my path. It would be when my my grandmother passed away, and that was about a year after college. And even though I had had all these experiences, I wanted to connect to her through a medium. And so I went to start to go see mediums, and I started to get this reinforcing message that I was supposed to do this work. And so
Yeah.
that kind of really, that's what came into me where I was like, oh my God, okay, I guess I have to, I'm supposed to do this. So
I think that's so interesting because that's a part of most of our paths. We're always looking for other people to validate that for us, right? When I was becoming a medium as well, I went and saw psychic mediums and I was just begging for them to say in their reading, oh, you're supposed to be doing this work, right? So that's part of, I think, the process for us. We're always looking for some to validate it. So with that, I want to ask you, do you think or do you believe that we all have an innate ability that if someone wanted to, that they could train and learn?
yeah, I mean, we generally say with mediumship that the only thing that you need to pursue developing your mediumship is a genuine curiosity. As long as you have that, of course, anybody can pursue mediumship, and anybody. I mean, I do believe, and there's that whole theory and thought, where people will talk about, are mediums made, or can you develop as one? What I've come to decide is that I do believe that the path to step into to become a medium and to serve spirit as a medium, I do believe that that is an innate part of your soul. I think that that is a part of your soul that you are born with. When that gets awakened, how it gets awakened, I think is different for a lot of people. But I do believe that if your sole purpose, one of your life purposes here, obviously we have many, but if you have a soul contract here to become a medium, I do believe that is something that you come in with. But like I said, I think how it shows up and what, but even if we were to say, like, even if we were to, somebody was to say, I mean, not that there's a way to do this, but let's just say we had a way with certainty
Yeah.
to say to somebody, you do not have a soul contract to be a medium. You are never going to be a medium that is serving spirit on the platform and giving readings. You're just not. You don't have that. You didn't come in with that, which
Okay.
who could really say that? But even if you said that, there still could be tremendous benefits to learning about mediumship. I mean, I use this example all the time, but I mean, just about a year ago, I decided I wanted to start to take dance classes. I mean, I don't think that I'm going to be like, in the Nutcracker anytime soon.
Mhm.
But there's still health benefits. There's still, it's made me more connected to the creative part of my mind. I mean, you know, so I don't think you always have to, some people come into mediumship because they're grieving the loss of a loved one and they want to learn about mediumship so they can connect on their own. So I think it's when people come, I always tell people, if you feel drawn to develop your mediumship, study it, learn it. I mean, be in the energy of it. If your path is to serve spirit as a medium, you know, that will show up for you.
It will.
That will happen, that will be revealed to you.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I have a theory too, just on it. What do you think about how important it is for personal development through the mediumship journey and healing?
Oh, that's a huge part of that. And I always tell people too that when somebody comes to one of my classes and stuff, or in a mentorship,
Yeah.
or wants to work with me, you already need to be in your spirit on your spiritual path for months, if not years, before you come. And also, I've had people that have come and that have worked with me in development circles, and they may sit circle with me for a year before they get their first message. I think it's interesting because it's funny because it seems like with spiritual stuff we tend to be more impatient. I have people that will come, you take a class, a workshop for a day, and people are like, well, I'm not seeing spirit, I'm not getting any messages, I don't know, what's going on. And I tell people that it's like, this takes a while. It takes a while for you, but no, your spiritual path is a main thing, because the thing is it will come out in your mediumship, and so you developing and doing kind of a self your spiritual path is definitely a big important. It starts even way before you're going to do a contact or be on the platform or anything like that.
Right, right. I think that's how mine all the weekend. I went on a personal journey. I started meditating, I started painting, I started journaling, and just started. And then that's kind of how my trauma came to surface and things started opening up. So I'm a personal believer in self development and how that can open things up too. So I think it's just super important as well. Someone asked, and I think this is perfect because I think you have a new course coming about this. But someone asked, "What is a soul contract?" Do you want to talk about that?
So a soul contract is an agreement based in not so many words, but a soul contract would be an agreement that you make before you come into um, the physical dimension. And it would be a soul contract, could be to learn a certain thing.
Okay.
It could be to meet with a certain soul here. It could be to learn a certain lesson. It could be to develop a certain, so you have many, many soul contracts. And they're basically just energetic agreements that you form before you come here to learn, to grow, what do and that's basically what that is. Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. And you have a new course coming up about that, don't you? I thought I saw that
We
on
actually
TikTok.
just had it,
You
but
just had it.
we just had it, yes. Mhm.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. If everybody's looking for a soul contract, thank you for answering. I really appreciate it. That was Kate. Oh, no problem. Um, there's a different methodology that people think about meditation. I personally think meditation is super important to developing because I think a lot happens in our brain as a medium. What are your thoughts about that? Because some people say don't have to meditate, but I just don't believe in that. I think meditation is probably key, or sitting in the power is probably key. Is that an exercise you would tell people to do?
Sitting in the power is definitely sitting in the power is definitely um, an important aspect of things. And there's other ways to connect too. Um, I think I see sitting in the power is more. It's more active than that. It's meditating is probably the first step, and
Right.
sitting in the power is a little bit more active than that. Of course, we know with sitting in the power, that's when you start to really start to develop that's the bridge into mediumship. So when you
Yeah,
start to sit into the power, that's when you start to get into the mediumistic side of things. Mhm.
I agree. I agree. Wholeheartedly, I agree. Before we got on the show, I was on TikTok and I was just fielding some questions, and one came up. It comes up a lot, and I wanted to pick your brain if you had advice for people. We talk a lot about spirits being around us all the time, trying to show us signs. What do you say to those people who say, "I never get a sign"?
I don't think that that's true.
Me
I
either.
don't think that that's true. I think probably you've gotten signs, but you may not be aware of it.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah. But I also know that all of our loved ones are not always sign givers. So every loved one is not necessarily a sign giver. Some loved ones um, just they might be around you in other ways. It might be a feeling, it might be a sense, it might be a thought. Not every loved one has to give signs. People communicate a lot of different ways, so that's the way that I look at it. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't get dreams too, and they get caught up on not having a dream either, right? A lot of people want dreams from their loved ones, and I always say that's kind of hard. They can't always appear in a dream. It doesn't happen all the time.
No, because if you're not a dreamer, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying, then then spirit's not going to communicate with you in that way. You know what I'm saying?
ex-
If you're not somebody that dreams a lot, spirit's probably not going to come to you that way.
exactly, exactly. I read somewhere that you talk about we have a lot of people who come to us for all kinds of different reasons. Do you think that there's a good time to come to a medium? Should they come to a medium like a week after their loved one passed? Do you have any that you use in your practice, any guidelines that you use around when?
When is a good time to get a reading?
Yeah. Should you wait 6 months? Should you wait? What do you
You know,
think?
I really think it depends. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on how ready you are to communicate to spirit. I always remind people and tell people, um, connecting to spirit is not having a mediumistic reading. It's not like grief therapy.
Yes.
So you always want to make sure that you are in the place to receive a reading. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You always want to make sure that you're in a place where you can actually receive a reading. And what are you looking for in that reading? What are you looking for in that reading? But remember, um, remember with that, it's different for different people. I mean, you want to always make sure that you're going to be ready to hear what comes through, and it's not always. You have to be in the play. You have to be in that mindset. So it's different for different people. Some people are ready right away for that. Some people, it's more like it takes a while.
hmm hmm That's what I say too. It's not about the spirit, it's about when you're ready, right? Because sometimes if you're so grief stricken, you're not going to even hear what we have to say, or you're going to be holding on to one certain thing that you want to hear so bad. So that's what I say
Right.
too. It's just
You,
about the
you, that's not a good way to go about things.
No, not at all. We have some questions. So Robin Kelly, does childhood trauma make us more open to being, what about trauma?
Well, we do seem to notice that people that a lot of mediums have a lot of childhood trauma. That seems to be something, not all, but of course, but it seems like there's a higher amount of that. So my sense is that probably that trauma does open up people to having some spiritual capacities with things. I just think that probably is what happens.
hmm I think that's what happened for me, because I don't think I was born with it naturally like you were. Mine, I think, came through trauma and through self-development and trying to tap into that trauma and why it happened to me and et cetera, et cetera. So very good question, Robin. Good question. I'm going to open it up. So if anybody has questions on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, we have Thomas here and he's willing to answer your questions. I have one more question before we end the whole
Yes,
interview
please.
part. Huh?
Yes, please. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I'm a growing medium too. What was the one best advice you got during your career? I know it's a hard one to think about, but is there anything that you got that was like the best piece of advice?
To never stop learning from spirit, and to always have the gratitude of being able that that we get to do this beautiful work and to honor it in that way. Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful. I don't remember you actually helped me too with some advice dealing with trolls and dealing with things like that. And just to remember that these people are never going to turn into a paid client. So not to worry about what other people think, right? So I'll always remember
Yeah, I mean, I
that
think
piece.
that ultimately our job as mediums is not to make people believe in mediumship.
Right.
Our job in mediumship is to is to serve spirit and to be a voice for spirit. And and not everybody is going to listen to what you have to say. Not everybody is, it's just not going to be like that. So you have to kind of approach things where you are a voice for the spirit world. And however people, that's not really your job to make people believe. It's great
Mhm.
if that helps them.
Right.
That's so powerful and meaningful.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always have to be, doesn't always have to be that way. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, thank you for answering that. We've had some issues with Facebook. How are we doing, Cassie? Are we up on Facebook?
I think we are good. We are starting
Yeah,
to
we were
people-
freezing up on Facebook and people were letting me know. So making sure we're all good. So you all who are just joining us, we have Thomas John. Any questions, please let us know. I have some questions that some fans sent me beforehand. So we're going to get started with that as we ask everybody else to start following in. But I want to say thank you for answering your questions so freely and honestly. Kate says, I've noticed mediums, psychics also seem to have family members or ancestors with similar gifts. What do you think about that? Generational stuff? Is it passed down?
I don't think it has to be. I don't
Oh,
think it has to be. I mean, I think it can be, but I don't think it has
has
to
to
be.
be. Perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job. Kristen Fox says, I get messages from loved ones only when they reach out. I can't just sit with someone and get a connection. And that happens to a lot of us beginners, right? We're just waiting for when a great moment happens, right? From
Yeah.
spirit. But when
Mhm.
I call it mediumship on demand. When you start doing readings and you got to be on demand, that's just a little bit different. Any advice for the newbies out there?
I think just to keep practicing, learn how spirit communicates with you, learn how spirit gives you messages, learn how spirit, gives you signs. You're probably going to be surprised. Get a great mentor, but you're probably going to be surprised. Um, the more that you practice with this and stuff, the more that it's going to, open up a lot more for you. And that's how it works.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. Like 5 years ago, I was scared to death to do a reading, had to meditate an hour before every reading. And now I can just get in there and do it. So practice, practice. If I had any suggestion, practice, 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 practice. Probably key, right? So you'll get comfortable.
Yes,
We have
practice,
Sonia.
practice, and you have to learn how you get, the way you get spirit information may be different than how other people do. Mhm.
Like Thomas John is known for names. You get really good names, or you get
I
names, not
do.
really good names, but you get names really well. Is that something you've practiced? Did you intentionally set out to practice your clairaudience? Anything specific, or is that just natural for you?
I've always been somebody, weirdly enough, even when I was a kid, I was always really hyper focused on names. And so I
Okay.
always had that as part of my language of spirit. One of my colleagues, Hollister Rand, she gets songs a lot.
Yeah.
But she comes from a family where there's music. I
Hmm.
think her parents were musicians or she sings or something. So you're going to find that spirit communicates to you in the way that you best receive information. Some of your more artistic type of people may get colors, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
that's in general how that works, I find. Mhm.
No, I think it's perfect. I think another piece of advice I was given is never compare myself to somebody else because we are different and we receive
You are
differently.
different. And the minute you start doing that,
Yep.
you don't want to do that. Mhm.
No, don't compare yourself. We're all on our own journey. And we all have our
You
own
are.
gifts and right? Yeah. I have Sonia on TikTok and she wanted to ask you, have you ever gotten messages explaining what happens when people pass away?
Say that again.
Have we ever gotten messages explaining what happens when people pass? Like, is that such thing as a life review? What is heaven like? Right? Are those the questions that people want to know? What happens when we pass away?
Um, they do bring that up. I find in readings. Yeah, that they do bring that up in readings. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I always say whatever they love, just that's what their heaven's like. They're doing the things that they love, right? This is
Oh
about
yeah,
love.
and your heaven is going to be different than other
Different.
people's heavens.
Hmm. Hmm.
Your heaven is going to have a different mindset than others because yeah, it's about your soul journey and your soul path and the way that you connect and everybody has a different mindset about that. It's going to be different. Like it's just different. Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. Kate's got some good questions from you too. What happens if you're out in public shopping? And this is a good one because there's a lot of mediums on TV now that show this, and I just don't think people understand what really goes on behind the scenes. So, what happens if you're out in public shopping and a message comes through for a stranger? Are you supposed to approach them? Do you tell them, etc.?
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is this. This is how I approach it. I feel that if I get a message for somebody and it's a place where it feels appropriate to bring that up,
Okay.
I don't mind going up to tell somebody, telling them that I'm a medium, explaining what that is, and giving them the option to receive the message.
Okay.
Um, in general, I find that doesn't happen really a lot. Um, in a big way, and because mediumship is such a sacred thing, it's meant to be done in a certain place and it's meant to be treated with that. But I also feel that spirit has a divine intelligence And I think that if spirit has gone the way to get my attention, then, I would say that, yeah, that would be something that, that would be something to kind of be aware of. Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think we're going to get to the point we're going to do some readings, you guys. So well, hold on. My spirit guides keep pushing me sometimes. Yeah, so Robin's just commenting, but really interesting concepts. I think Kate keeps leaving comments too. Have you ever changed a skeptic's mind or perspective on mediumship? Oh,
Oh,
that's a
yeah,
really
that's
good one.
happened before. Of course, yeah,
Yeah,
that's happened quite a bit actually. Mhm.
yeah. I think it's amazing when we can do that. Not that I don't set out to say I'm going to do that, but I think it's amazing when it happens through the process.
Yes, I think it is too. And I think it also depends on, again, somebody has to have that in their, have their mindset and have kind of a willingness to, to do that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys. So here's the point where if you guys want to ask Thomas a question, get a little mini reading, you can let us know in the comments and we will be glad to do that. I have one that someone wrote in for me that I want to share with you if that's okay. So we have a
Yes.
Desiree. Desiree. So Desiree is 21, 22, and she wrote in saying that she was pregnant with triplets and that there was an emergency and she lost one triplet in utero. Two were born, one passed away within 24 hours, and she's got one left. So she's traumatized by the loss of two babies. Okay. And so she asked, was there something overlooked by the doctors? Was it something that she did that caused this? So she's just kind of suffering and would like some guidance on that. And are her babies okay? And are they around? Ooh, that's a heavy one.
So, Desiree, the first thing I would tell you is that I've learned that no spirit is strong enough or powerful enough to make a situation where another spirit transitions. So as painful as that is to realize, at the end of the day, there must have been a divine purpose for that. It is painful. It is hard to put into our mind. But in my experience is that yes, that is probably something that we don't know about, that soul path or things like that at all. So yeah, that's what I would say with that. I feel that one of those souls that crossed over is very, very prominent around you and actually visits you a lot. One of the other souls is a little bit more quieter, and not as around as much. But I feel that both of them are around, and both, but just seems like one is a little bit more sort of intense.
Okay. Yeah. And she's got one surviving baby, 2 months old, who's still in the NICU. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. Little Remy is surviving. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. Let's go to somebody else. Cassie, you want to pull someone? How about Terry? She'd love a reading. I think Terry lost her daughter, Terry Phillips. Do you see that one?
What's her name?
Terry Phillips. And her picture's right there below you if you can see it.
Oh, hi, Terry.
Here she is.
Is there somebody that she wants to connect to, or should I just kind of pick up whatever I'm getting?
She lost a daughter. You want to connect to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terry, the first thing I'm getting is I'm getting two things. So I do want to say first off, Terry, there is an older man that's coming through. And I don't know who this is, but there's an older man that's coming through that I feel is actually with your daughter. I get the feeling with this man that he would have been very, very outdoors oriented, love to be in the outdoors. And I get the feeling with him also that he would be somebody that greeted your daughter. He would be somebody, I don't know what their relationship was, but he would be somebody that greeted your daughter and kind of is over there helping her and kind of hanging out with her, that type of deal. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Also, I want to tell you too. Um, Somebody keeps showing me this, or I see this with you. I feel like this with you. I think this could be from your daughter. Um, I need to acknowledge butterflies. So that comes up as a big thing. I'm not sure how that's connected, but I'm definitely seeing that. And I don't know if that could be like a sign. I'm not really sure what the significance of that, but I definitely am seeing that. And also with your daughter, um, it's interesting because this man keeps coming through really strongly. So I'm not sure who he is, but there's a man there is this like man that I'm feeling with her. Um, and Terry, is she able to respond?
Yeah. So Terry,
Okay.
let us know if there's a male in spirit as well with her.
Yeah,
Just
and
let me
also
know.
Terry, if you could also if you could take the M name in spirit.
Okay. I've been seeing lots of butterflies lately, she says. So that's a confirmation for you. Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
What about the M name, Terry? Is there an M name or male? Maybe my grandfather. Yeah. That she's with. Does he have a
Hmm.
name with an M? Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
And I don't know if there would be two. I don't know if I would be seeing something about there being two daughters. There might be a living daughter. Feels like there's like
No man.
another daughter.
Yeah, no man with an M. I think that was her only daughter, but I don't know if one passed. Woman with an M. She's a woman with an M.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm good.
So you could take. You might be able to take that. She might be able to take that.
I have a granddaughter, she said. Okay, there's the other daughter. So
Yeah.
I think the granddaughter was left when the daughter passed. So that's
Okay.
where the two girls come in.
Yeah,
Just
that's
because I
probably.
know Terry. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good job.
Yep. And also too, I don't know. I get this feeling though, Terry. I don't know if there's something. I don't know if somebody's moving soon, or you would be moving, or I feel like there's some sort of like moving thing that's happening that your daughter in spirit is bringing up and saying, something's going. I don't know, like she knows about. I don't really get it, but it feels like she's bringing that up.
Okay. Awesome. All right. We'll leave that with her too and see if she can reply and validate. Yay. Thanks, Thomas. Do
Thank you.
you want to jump to another one?
Sure.
Yay. Let's find one. Got one, Cass? Coming over. There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Mary, I would love to hear from my baby's father who passed away unexpectedly. We never got to say goodbye.
Her baby's father.
Yes.
Let's see what I'm feeling about that. One thing I will tell you, Mary, is that he has a whole different mindset about things now on the other side. So there really is a different sense. And also, Mary, I just want to ask you this too. I don't know if you have a son, but I keep hearing about a son. So I don't know if when you're saying baby, if that means that, but I know that there's a reference to a son. They're talking about a son. That keeps coming up really, really strongly.
Got it. She's got a daughter, actually, she says.
Okay, but Mary, is there another? I feel like I'm getting something about a son too. Do you have a son even besides your daughter?
No
And
son.
also, let me ask you this: the man that passed, he keeps showing me the letter L. The letter L. The letter L. It's somebody here that he's talking about.
Mary, just let us know if the letter L makes any sense.
Yeah, the letter L. This is really important. See if you can take that. Show me the letter L.
The letter L. My daughter's name is Lucinda.
Okay. Is
There you
that
go.
so that's the person that you're talking about that died? He's
It's
just, I want to tell you, Mary, he has a different mindset about things over there. There's things that he did here that I will just tell you he wishes he could do over. But of course, we can't, and we don't know if he had, who knows? I mean, maybe some of those things were things that you were supposed to experience or, but I just want to tell you, he was not an easy person here. And I get the feeling that he wants you to know that he's doing a lot of learning over on the other side. And he's saying that he's glad that you're happy now. It just, I don't know. It's interesting. He's also showing me tattoos. I don't know what that would be, but I see tattoos. And he's in a good place on the other side. He really is. I just feel that I definitely get that he struggled a lot here. Not a doubt about it. I mean, he had a lot of struggles here. And something also about a cross necklace. I see something also about a cross necklace. I don't know if you understand that.
She said he had a lot of tattoos, and that was his daughter, who's Lucinda. And he did have tattoos, yes. He passed
And
by suicide.
I'm also seeing the 19th of a month. So that would be like March 19th, April 19th. I don't know, but it's something the 19th of the month. And I'm also seeing something about somebody having this man's shoes.
Aww. Good job. He had a cross chain necklace, so there's a validation on the necklace.
Okay.
Yep, good job. And then what was the last thing? Ooh. Shoes. What was shoes? Anything about his shoes, Mary? The 19th is her birthday. October 19th is the baby's birthday.
Oh, wonderful.
So good job. Yeah. Great validation. So, Mary, I hope you feel the connection with him and that Thomas brought him through for you. What a beautiful experience. Yeah. And she's not sure about the shoes. That's okay. Yeah, I'll let you think about that. Yeah.
Think about that one.
Awesome. Well, good job. Thanks, Mary, for participating and letting Thomas connect with your baby's dad. All right. I have one from TikTok. Krista Smith is her name. My daughter passed away August 9th from being hit by a car. I want to know if she's okay.
Read it again to me, totally.
Krista is her name. My daughter passed away on August 9th from being hit by a car. I want to know if she's okay.
Okay. So sorry to hear that, Krista. So this is what I'm feeling. I just want to tell you, first off, Krista, I feel, first off, she is okay. She is okay. She's already kind of coming into me, and I feel like she is okay. I get a feeling that she was very, very shocked when she passed. It was like she was shocked. Like this happened so quickly. That's the best way I can explain it to you. It was like she was shocked. There was a shock of it. But I do feel like she is okay. I do feel like she is fine. This is what she showed me. I don't know if you understand this, but something about her room. I don't know if you go in her room. I don't know if you're in her room sometimes. She keeps showing me something about that. Something about that. Going in her room. I don't know. If you go in her room?
Yes.
Yep. I also want to say too, she says that she knows that people were there at the end. So I don't know if people were with her. I don't really understand, but I feel like she's talking about that. And also, I keep seeing the letter R. I don't know what the letter R would signify. And I also am getting the feeling, for some reason, your daughter is placing me. Looks like I'm in some sort of city type of environment. or I don't know why, but she's kind of like dropped me into a city, I feel. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I do feel like she's not, it's not like she's struggling or anything like that. She's with other, there's feels like there must be a grandmother with her, like a grandmother figure that she would have been very, very close with. I get that feeling. And also, I hear the name Samantha. So I don't know if you could take somewhere the name Samantha. Now, is this one that we can get a validation on?
Yeah, she's slowly coming in. She's like, yes, she was in her room. The whole family was there when she passed away. And so I'm asking for, is there an R connection to let me know if there's an R connection?
There's also an L connection and a J.
J.
Yeah, J would be Jason or Joshua.
Okay. Oh my, yes. She said, oh my God, yes, it's her. Oh.
Okay, so she's taking a lot of this.
She's taking it all. Yep.
Okay.
Good job.
And yeah, so just what I want to tell you as far as her, yeah, she is in spirit. Now, what she's telling me, what is this lady's first name again?
The one asking, the mom, his name is Krista. Krista.
Mm-hmm. So just so you know, Krista, I do get the sense that you were given a choice about ending, like, I don't know if you had to pull the plug or something like that, but your daughter's telling me she had already transitioned at that point. Her physical body hadn't passed, but she had already transitioned at that point. So she doesn't want you to feel that you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I feel like,
yes.
And I don't know, that's what I'm feeling though.
She said, yes, I did. She said, yes, she had to make the choice, I think. Yep.
Yeah. But, I don't, she was already in spirit at that point,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aww, I hope that helps.
There's somebody with her also, Krista, with a G. I don't know who that would be, but there's somebody on the other side with her with the letter G.
Krista, anybody with the G, the letter G? She said, I already knew that, but I was hoping for God's hands. So before, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's okay. She's all right. Still waiting for the G. Oh, she said, I'm thinking. She's on the spot now, right? Good job. Yeah. Okay.
We'll go on to something else.
Yep, let's go on to something else. But I hope I hope that helps, Mama. I hope that helps. All right, let's do another one. Woo! Good job. I'll let Cassie pull one from Facebook or YouTube.
Sure. Let's do Joni Thomas. Would love to hear any messages for me, my grandmother who passed, or my brother-in-law.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks for being here, Joni. So this is what I want to tell you first. I'm going to start I'm getting a little psychic hit for you, Joni. I don't know who this is, but I feel like there's somebody at your work where there's a very high stress energy with this person. And I don't know why this is even coming in, but they're talking about a work person. And I see you like, I can't really explain it, but it sort of feels like there's a work person. You're dealing with this person and they're causing you a lot of, I don't know if I would say stress. I don't know if I would say problems, but it feels a little bit like that. And I just feel like I'm hearing about it, that it's going to, I feel like I need to tell you that it's going to be okay. So try not to let this person get the best of you. I kind of feel like this person, and also Joni, I get that there would be a female in spirit for you who would be very religious. Has a more of a religious mindset is what I'm picking up on. I believe this would be one of your grandmothers. And she was pretty religious. I don't know what religion, but like religion was an important thing for her. I feel like she would have been maybe very connected to the church or involved with the church or something with that, where like that would have been a big part of her, a big part of her life. And I get the feeling that she is around you a lot. There's a connection with her where she, she likes to connect with that, and I feel like she's. I just get a sense of her around you. I don't know which side she is or anything like that. And also, Joni, I'm wondering if in living or spirit you would have a Shell, Michelle, Cheryl, or Shelley.
She does say church was everything to her.
Okay. Does she get to? Can we see if she can respond to that, or we don't get that?
Yep, we're waiting for her. So she just said church was everything to her, and then we're waiting for the name. Shelley, Shell.
And remember, Shelley could be living.
Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. So let us know,
Also-
Joni.
Yep. And there might be a Jane or Jan. Jan.
My boss's name is Michelle.
Okay. That might have been going back to the first message. Wonder if she could, I wonder if you could take, I'm hoping she could take a Jan.
Jan?
Janice.
Ah, yeah. My grandmother is Janice.
Okay. Joni, your grandmother is so funny to me. She is cracking me up. She is hysterical. I have to tell you that. She's the type of woman that I feel where it's almost like she's kind of irreverent, if you'd understand that, Joni. Like she doesn't really care. You know what I'm saying? I get her to be kind of like that. Strong lady, just a force of nature type of lady. I don't know if you'd understand that. Strong lady. I think she'd be the type of person, I almost want to say she'd be the type of person that, like if you cut her off in traffic or something, she'd give you the middle finger. She's funny to me. She is funny. She's definitely like that. She's got a little spunk to her. I don't know if you'd understand that.
Yeah, she says irreverent. Yes.
Yeah. And just so you understand, Joni, Grandma was in a lot of pain at the end. This was not an easy passing. There was a lot of health issues, and this lady, I can see her almost being like, I do not want to be here anymore. If I can't enjoy my life, if I can't have my drink, if I can't do what I want to do, what is the point of being here? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I feel her to be in spirit, where she's kind of like, she wants you to know she's past that, because this was not like she died in her sleep. This was like struggle, pain, health issues, that type of thing and stuff. You'd understand that. And she does watch over your daughter a lot.
She does say middle finger was in all her pics that she has of her. She loves to give the middle finger.
Yeah, that's what she's doing. That's what I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And she does. She suffered for a really long time is what she's saying. So right on, Thomas. Good job. Yeah. My daughter is named after her is what she says as well.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Joni, for letting Thomas connect.
Thanks so much, Joni.
Yeah.
So,
this is good stuff. We have another one. I'm going to do Christina S. because she messaged me before the show and asked to get hers in. So it's right there. Always love to hear from my mom. Her birthday was actually last Sunday. That's Christina Schumann Lubbock.
Oh, Christina. Many blessings. Well, Christina, I'm actually going to go psychic on you just for 1 second before I bring in your well, no, sorry, your mom's already here. Christina, but let me just tell you one thing. First thing I'm getting, I'm almost positive, Christina, this is your mom. I don't know for sure just yet, but let's just kind of, if I had you in front of me and you were, if I had you in front of me, obviously, I would be able to get some valid, I would say, hey, this, but let me just kind of do it this way. So I do feel your mom is here. First off, I want to tell you, I don't sense that this has been a long time. So I don't know if this is a relatively recent passing, but it doesn't feel like it's been a long time, Christina. I feel like this is more of a recent passing. I want to tell you that there is some stubbornness that your mother is making me aware of. Somebody in the family is being very stubborn, and they need to be more cooperative. It's a male energy. I don't know who it is, but your mom is saying that somebody is very, very stubborn, and they're not listening, and there's something about that. I don't know, but that is coming through. I have to tell you that. Okay. Mom is also and your mom has a very gentle energy to her, but I also feel like she didn't take any crap. She would be the type of person that would kind of like, she'd kill you with kindness, but she would kind of like get her way about things. And I don't know if this might be, I'm wondering if this might be your father that she's talking about, who's being stubborn. I see mom being very organized. Mom, when she comes into me, she's got a list of things to go over, I feel. She's with somebody in spirit with, there's somebody in spirit with an M with her. There's somebody in spirit with a P with her. There's somebody in spirit with an R with her. And there's somebody in spirit with an O with her. These are all loved ones that are with her. So you'd probably know some of those people, I would assume. Mom says you need to start being better about saving. You need to start preparing for your future. And there's a little bit too much of money comes in, money comes out, money comes in, money comes out. I would love to get a little bit more organized about money. And Mom's bringing this up. I think Mom was probably this type of person, because I see like writing a budget. You know what I'm saying? So if you could do that, that would be something that would be a positive thing to do. She's talking about actually sitting down and, doing a budget. That would be something that would be really good.
You want some validations yet?
Yeah.
She has an uncle, Olga, or my uncle, and then Olga's my grandmother. We have a lot of stubborn men in the family. She learned how to spend money from her mom. And there was a Presley too. So you've got the P and the O.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so good job. Yeah. Yes, mother. She's like, yes, mother. That's awesome. All right. Presley is my uncle. Okay. Is he the one that's stubborn and needs to cooperate more? Probably, huh? Yeah. All right. Good job. And then Marie, there's the M. Maria is my other grandmother. So there's the M too.
Oh, good.
Good. Look at all that. Yeah. Well, thanks, Christina. Thanks for letting Thomas John tap into your family. That's awesome. I think we have time for a few more. Are you ready?
Sure.
Let's see. Yeah. I wanted to do one off of TikTok. Lori Davis is her name. My son-in-law passed, and are you getting anything? His name was Joshua.
Well,
My son-in-law.
We had that name come through before, right?
Joshua, did we? Yeah.
Yeah, we had that.
A J name.
I think no, I said Joshua at some point. I don't know who I said it to. I mean, it wasn't to Lori, but that name came through before, I think, for somebody.
Yeah.
It was Jason or Joshua. Okay. Yes. And what is the person, who is the person she's wanting to connect to? Her son-in-law?
Son-in-law. Joshua's a son-in-law.
Joshua is her son-in-law. Lori's son-in-law, Joshua.
Yep.
Lori, this is what I want to say. First off, I don't know if this would have been like a very quick passing, but to me, that's what I'm getting. I feel like it was a very quick passing. It seems like this person, when they went to spirit, it wasn't. I mean, that's what I see. I feel like it was like an abrupt passing. When I connect to him, he's talking about watching over 3 male energies here. So I'm not sure who that is, but he's talking about watching over there's 3 male energies that he watches over here. And I don't know who they are or why and also Lori, I think you'd understand him in spirit with a dog. I think he would be on the other side with a dog, or he would have I think he's on the other side with a dog. He's very around, so I don't know if it feels like he's very prominent, like people have felt him, people have sensed him. I mean, I just get the feeling of him being around a lot. So
perfect. He loves dogs, and the 3 males are her grandson, his dad, and her husband. So there are 3 males that he
Mhm.
watches over.
Beautiful.
Good job. Well, hope he always moving stuff in the house. So yes, he is
Yeah.
very much around all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lori, would this be so? Is this your daughter's? Is this your daughter's husband?
Say, Lori, is this your daughter's husband? Yes, it is.
Okay. Because I think one thing that he's telling me is that for whatever reason, your daughter, it's not a bad thing, but I think for some reason, I think sometimes your daughter is not as open to connecting with him. I just think that she has so much trauma that she has a hard time allowing herself to kind of get into that energy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that again doesn't mean that he's not there, but I don't know. I just feel like I need to say that. So
She said not at all. She's the one that found him, so she's not dealing with it very well.
she's not dealing with it. So she and I
Mhm.
feel like she gets annoyed because she feels she doesn't know. It's like, where is he? He's never visiting me. Other people get messages and I don't. But see, I'm getting that she's so traumatized that it's like she she's just can't get there yet. But that's he'll keep visiting her, and I think eventually she'll start to pick up things and stuff. So. Mhm.
Thank you. Thanks, Lori. She says she's crying, so thank you so much for what you do. Yep. All right, we have time for one more. Let's do either YouTube or Facebook.
We've got Jennifer Kelly from YouTube.
Jennifer Kelly. Hi, Thomas. My brother Michael passed away months ago suddenly. I'm wondering if he's trying to reach you. Thanks.
Jennifer Kelly, my brother. Her brother passed?
Yep. Her brother Michael.
Jennifer, can I just ask you, did he leave children behind? Because I don't know why I feel that. Did he leave children behind? And also, I just want to say, I don't know on this if somebody's listening to this. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're on TikTok or whatever they are, but there is the reason I was hesitating is because somebody's mother's coming through and she's talking about the locket. Her name is Pauline, and she says that she has to get a message through. And I believe that her daughter is here, and she's telling me her name is Pauline, and something about a locket. And also there's a message about her from your mom to your daughter that you need to smile more. I think that you're going through a lot of stuff, and sometimes it's easy to kind of be in sort of a negative, not a negative energy, but I feel that sometimes you can be negative about stuff. So I don't know who that is for, but I absolutely have to give that message through. Hey, Jennifer, well, I don't know who Kyle is then. So is there a Kyle? Because I was feeling that this person had children. So, and I hear the name Kyle. So I don't know. Maybe I'm picking up on somebody else then. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm watching everywhere to see if anybody's opening up. Yeah.
And I also want to talk about something where somebody would be, Jennifer, I don't know if this goes for you. Somebody was recently going through photographs. Somebody was organizing photographs. Somebody was looking at photographs. And this would be connected to this male in spirit, I feel. Unless I'm picking up on somebody else for you.
She said he has a nephew. Is the nephew named Kyle? Kyle is the nephew, is who lied.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
You're right on. Yep.
Jennifer, I know it's hard for you to understand this, but this was your brother's time to go. Your brother's telling me that this is his sole contract and he was supposed to leave at this time. Okay. And he's with his other brother. So I don't know if it could have been a baby brother. It could have been an infant. I don't know, but there's another brother that you've lost that's with your brother. Okay. There's another brother over there.
Ooh, good stuff, everybody. Good stuff. My mom passed and her name is very close to Pauline, but not Pauline, but I don't know anything about a locket. Okay. Well,
Who said
thank
that?
you, Melissa, but there was nothing about a locket. She was just connecting the names. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could be then.
Just know if something was said today, here's how mediumship works. If anything was said, because I know I have some people freaking out on TikTok about the name Jason, just know they're meant for you too, right? So sometimes they pop in. So even if you hear a name, just know that maybe that was a shout out for you as well.
Oh yeah, totally.
Totally, right? So even though we didn't get to everybody, if there was a message that resonated, just know that was for you too. Okay. All right. Thomas, we want to thank you so much. We are out of time. It went by so
Thank you
fast.
so much.
So fast. But thank you so much for being on the show with us. Cassie, can you put up where people can find Thomas John's information? Yes. Thomas John Celebrity Meeting at thomasjohn.com. So if anybody wants to book a reading or find out where he's coming next, you can find that all on his website. So there's Ashley. Hey, girls. Hi, Thomas. So everyone's saying hi. Gosh, I wish we had more time. Thomas, thank you again for being on the show. We appreciate you so much. I'm the Red Couch Medium all over Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So if you're ever looking for me, it's under the Red Couch Medium. And Cassie, where can people find you?
They can find me at Stargazers Unite. Stargazers unite across all platforms. So,
Okay.
yes.
And what do you do, Miss Cassie?
I create websites, logos, and branding materials for spiritual business owners.
Yeah, and she's amazing what she does. So again,
Wonderful.
thanks, Thomas, for being on. We appreciate you. Y'all, guess what's coming out next week? So please keep watching on Facebook. So when it goes live, you guys can go out and buy it. And with that, we will let you all go and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
See you soon.
Bye.
Good people now, good people now, good people.